welcome to the Mindful Mixtape.
You're right, just relax, man.
Sorry. Start that again. You got
Proper
me,
white coal syndrome, man.
Welcome to the Mindful Mixtape with your host Dr. Ranj Sagu and Jati Cheed.
Hi, and welcome to the Mindful Mixtape podcast with myself, Dr. Ranj Sagu.
And myself, Jati Cheed. You can relax. Just like lean back.
I am.
Right.
I'm nice and relaxed.
Okay. Cool.
This is me relaxed.
That is impressive. Okay, cool.
It's probably because, like I said, I had a bad night's sleep, but I'm here, I'm chilled, relaxed, and ready to go.
That's good. So that's quite apt that you didn't sleep well on the sleeping episode.
On the episode of sleep, yes, that's true.
Okay.
But we'll come back to that.
Yes,
because on the last episode,
yes,
you kind of blindsided me with a question about gram flour.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I just couldn't get my head around. I don't know why.
Okay.
Gram flour and white refined flour. But anyway, so I went away, did some research for you. And your question of, is gram flour better than normal flour? The answer is yes.
That's good. That's good because I already ate it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
No, it actually is. So looking at why, gram flour has less calories, less carbs, and it's also got a lot more protein and fiber and nutrients as well, like folic acid, magnesium, and also a lot more nutrients and antioxidants as well. So as a substitute for normal white refined flour, it actually is a lot better for you.
But I think because you said as a substitute, it's probably better, but don't go and consider it being great. It's still flour, isn't it, at the end of the day. It's still...
Well, I mean, yeah. But like, if you're doing swaps, and swaps is a good way of, if you're looking at trying to improve your nutrition and, rather than making complete changes and going from things that you like to stuff that you're not used to eating, then it's a good way of doing it because you're swapping it for something that you actually can eat and it's better for you.
Yeah. And it tastes nice as well.
And it tastes good. Yeah. I didn't even realize actually that's what they used to make pakora and stuff.
Yes, that's why I said it's like a flat pakora what I had.
Yes, true. That's true. Yeah.
You thought it was just insane at that point.
When you said it was a pancake, I was like, I think he's lost the plot. But that in itself was keeping me awake as well. Because
okay, so you didn't sleep well.
Yes.
Because one, you was excited.
Yes.
About the podcast.
Not just generally excited, no.
And thinking about stuff. So maybe
it's what kind of happens with me. If I'm excited about something that's going to happen, I sometimes find it hard to switch off. But we'll come back to that a bit later and how different ways of trying to switch off.
how to go to sleep.
How to go to sleep, basically. Yeah. One of the ideas for today's episode was we would just go to sleep for an hour.
And do a
demo,
good.
yeah. And then if you everybody at home who's listening could just join us.
It's like a interactive.
It's like a meditative sleep.
Something like that.
Okay.
So today we're talking about sleep. Before we go into that, we didn't do our introductions again. So who are you and why should I care?
Why should you care? Yeah, good. I am your resident GP and transformational health and well-being coach.
When you say you don't mean mine.
Yes,
like
your personal.
Okay.
No, I am a GP by background and a health and well-being coach.
Okay. I am a Punjabi singer. This is quite... Sorry. I'm glad he done that because my intro was shit.
That's all right. Did you do that because I said I'm a GP and you're like, yeah. This is the right time to sneeze. I've got a cold.
Oh, all right. He's trying to get free advice.
Free
I thought he was just taking the piss out of you. No. So my name's Jati Cheed and I'm alcoholic. Jati Cheed and I'm a Punjabi singer on this journey to reinvent my life. Wow.
That's quite profound. I like that.
So I'm here to seek some good advice from you.
Well, we're here to have go on this journey together.
There you go.
And
Come along.
Learn from one another, like we demonstrated with the old gram flour.
There you go.
Gram flour gate.
Next week, rice flour. Okay. So sleep. Yeah. So
why are we talking about sleep? That's the important question.
So it's one of your pillars, isn't it?
Yes, that's a good answer. Yeah. So like we said, we're actually on episode 6 now, aren't we?
I think
this is the penultimate episode of our first series.
Exciting.
It is exciting. So so one of the pillars is sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's important that there's a whole pillar devoted to sleep?
Because we spend half of our life doing this thing, so it's important. It's important to get the rest so we're fully functional the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Big Bang Theory, and he described it in a really kind of scientific way. I won't remember, but it was quite good. On like kind of downloading your mind memories and I suppose your body as well, and like getting rid of things and resetting.
That's quite good, actually. I like that.
That wasn't from Big Bang. That was me.
That was you. Okay, sure. That's a really, really good answer. The way I see it, and exactly what you said, you spend half of your time sleeping. So I said it's like the other side of the coin.
The dark side of the moon.
Yes.
Yeah. That was from, I don't know what that implies.
That was Transformers.
No, I was singing a song from Mulan.
Oh, no, I thought that. Isn't that Pink Floyd?
Maybe.
We'll have to. That's next week's. But it's like the other side of the coin. It's like, obviously we spend half of our time awake and active and doing stuff, and eating and drinking and putting our bodies and minds through so much. There has to be a way of kind of equalizing that, if you like. It has to be your body and mind has to rest at some point, doesn't it? And
that is the sleep. I suppose you do rest as well in the day, so that's one thing. But sleeping is obviously you're going to tell me better than sitting down and having a rest. I've got a question for you.
Okay.
If you lie down with your eyes closed, is that the same as sleeping?
No.
Okay.
And we'll come on to that, because you're just obviously when you say lie down with your eyes closed, you're still conscious and awake, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why we'll come on to that as to why that is. But yeah, as in, and the other important part about why is talking about sleep so important is that whole thing about rest, and it's not just rest. It's the recovery bit that you mentioned as well.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies, like we said, we spend half our day putting our bodies and minds through so much. There has to be some form of recovery from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, so both body and mind, your body has to recover, but also your mind as well, like laying down of memories and all that kind of stuff has to come into it. So that's the other part of it. And I also think the other important reason why we should talk about sleep is we spend a lot of time not thinking about sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of sleep and in terms of the way I've kind of thought about it before, it's always like the last thing.
It's on the back burner.
It's on the back burner. It's like the bit we kind of neglect.
Mm-hmm.
And, life's so busy. There's so much going on. And it's like the bit that gets sacrificed for everything else.
Yes.
But we need to give it a bit more respect.
You're right. We don't talk enough about sleep. You probably say, did you sleep? That's the most you ever talk about sleep is, did you sleep well?
Yeah.
And that's, if you say no.
Like when you get up in the morning and you see your kids, did you have a nice sleep? Yeah, that's it.
What if they said no? What would you say back? Tough. Get on with it.
Try again tomorrow night.
You'll have a chance to do it again.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, there's not enough conversation, so we probably do have a bit of a, you're right. Oh, I slept really bad last night. But in reality, what's the next question or the next thing that we should talk about?
Absolutely.
Really? So yeah, it is important because we all do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, you listening to this are doing this. You're sleeping every day, so
just don't sleep while we're talking.
Hopefully,
we don't put you to sleep. Oh, maybe if
wake up.
Maybe if we really need to sleep and our voices are that soothing, then
yeah, that's a different. We'll have to open another podcast for that.
Okay.
Sleep with. I don't know.
I think that's
we'll stop there.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the importance of talking about sleep, I think. And it'll be good to know whether what your experience of sleep.
Well, I have to say I'm very experienced in sleeping.
Yeah, I've been doing it all my life.
That's the one thing. I came well prepared for this. I was like, yes, I've been doing this all my life, so I feel very well versed in sleeping. Sleep for me, I'm probably one of the guys who can stay awake till late and sleep in. Like I'm sure there's a name for it.
I remember that from uni.
Yeah, like I'd rather do that than wake up early. You tell me to wake up early, I can do it now. I think my lifestyle's changed now. But I'm probably one who doesn't neglect sleep. Sleep is like top of my list. Like even though I'm going to sleep late, I'm going to sleep well, or I'm going to sleep enough. People say you should sleep. Maybe you're going to contradict me now. 8 hours a night.
No, you're right. 7 to 9 hours. So yeah,
okay,
I was banging there. Yeah.
And I always thought maybe your body size makes a difference. So that's what I'm trying to get away with sleeping more.
You're like, I'm going to sleep for 12 hours.
No, but obviously different. If it's between 7 and 9, that means there's a bit of a flexibility window. So if I'm sleeping 7, like people say, you can get used to a smaller time, like you can get within your pattern. But if you told me to sleep 6 hours a day, I'll probably do 6 hours a night. I'll probably do it for a bit, and then I don't know, like it'll probably crash. But so obviously I do like my sleep. I went through a period in my life. I don't know if we're going to pick it up now, but I'm going to talk about it. Is that I didn't sleep well, and I didn't sleep well. And I didn't know I was sleeping well.
You didn't know that you weren't sleeping well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously I'd wake up tired. I wake up, spent the day, I'd watch TV, nod off. Driving.
Oh, yes.
Nod off.
Yes.
And mate, that is you do silly things. You drive a bit faster, so you get there quicker.
Yeah.
Not knowing you'll probably kill yourself a bit quicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you're nodding off. I remember I was... it's on some A road with two of my mates. I was sleeping in the car, and as I was driving, I started nodding off, and I woke up, and I was about to hit a truck in front of me.
Oh gosh!
Like just kind of startled, and then I just put the brakes on. I didn't stop. I just slowed down really, and it was like nothing else was there on the road apart from just one truck.
Yeah.
So I have suffered with bad sleep, but I didn't know I was actually sleeping bad. As I said, I was probably sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
Until I got married. Until my wife said, you snore a lot.
Okay.
Then I remember watching the adverts. I was actually at the DVLA and I saw an advert on the screen saying, do you suffer with these things? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And then it was sleep apnea.
Okay.
So it took me about a couple of years still after that to really convince myself.
Okay.
Then I went to the doctor. They give you a little...
The oxygen monitor.
You go to the hospital for that.
Yeah,
oxygen monitor.
Do a sleep study.
And they said, yep, you've got it. And got a mask. So if you ever see me with pink face, it's because of my mask.
It's not just your weekend makeup.
No,
okay.
It's not. And so I got a mask, and then it was getting used to a mask and going to sleep is horrible. First few weeks I was like, this is waste of time. Then finally got used to it. Now I am used to it, and I probably nodded off about 3 times in the past 4 years or something.
Wow.
Like just watching TV or something.
Yeah.
That's when you definitely haven't slept enough. Like you woke up early or you're genuinely a bit more tired about something. Like I'm not afraid of driving. You tell me to drive to Scotland and I'm all right.
Oh, wicked.
So yes, it's a faff, and yeah, it's it's another bamari, like another sickness that you got, but it's helped me. So I'm glad it got picked up.
Can I ask how, like looking back now, how do you feel about like what were you like before? When you look back and you're thinking, how tired were you? What was your day like?
So you kind of just, I probably just went, I'm lazy. Like, I kind of come to terms with being lazy. You didn't want to like do stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just think I'm lazy. Like everyone's saying, do this, do that. And you're like, oh, a bit sluggish.
Sure.
I wouldn't say I was a bit like short-tempered or anything. I don't think it was that. It was just tired. And the joke was this guy can sleep anyway.
Okay.
Like, he's going to go to sleep now. Sure. And I could like watch TV, nod off, sit in the car, nod off.
Yeah.
Nice, comfortable places.
Yeah. As in, but do you see that it affect other parts of your like routine, like and just you in general, like your mood?
Yeah.
Did it affect like your kind of your energy to do things, your motivation to do things?
That's what I mean. Yeah, like you just come to terms with being like, I'm a bit lazy, like I can't be asked to do these things. Yeah. But look, man, since I've had the machine, I haven't changed completely, but you're a bit more active.
Yeah, sure. No, the reason I was kind of trying to come on to that because of another important aspect of it is how important sleep is for the rest of your well-being, and kind of the knock-on effects that it has, in terms of your mood and your concentration and your energy levels, and even things like your eating behaviors and things like that. Or it can be affected so much by your sleep.
I think we discussed it on the previous episode. When if you don't sleep well, you overeat, you probably want more sugar, you want more energy. You kind of try to overcompensate the lack of energy that you have.
Yeah. So I was going to come on
to...
So,
man, it could be this, you know what I mean? Like, I've been sleeping well all my life. And there you go.
There is a direct link between not sleeping properly
don't say the old word.
And being big boned.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, there is a direct. You can exercise, you can eat well, but if you don't sleep well, there's a direct link between bad sleep and being obese, and obviously lots of other chronic conditions as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what made me kind of definitely get used to the machine, the CPAP machine.
The CPAP machine, yeah.
Because they also say you only need it for 6 hours a night. Like it's recommended 6 hours a night. I'll sleep with it all the way. Like even if I might have a nap for some reason, I shouldn't need one, but in case I do, I'll put it on. Like that's how I sleep now, and I'm probably a bit too used to it now. Like if you said sleep, like, and my wife now has in the side effect of this has now had a good sleep because I don't snore anymore. When we first had the machine, she goes, "I had to check you was in the bed." Like, because she goes, I couldn't hear anything. Yeah. And, you don't know how loud you snore. So I'm going, are you making this up?
Because the machine itself, is it, because the old machines were proper noisy. I don't know whether the new ones
No, this is it's just like I don't know, like a real mild fan. You feel it's small. It's not even that. It's like a laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the laptop fan kicks in, maybe it's that.
Okay.
Maximum.
That's good.
And it doesn't really change, it stays stable, so even you get used to it.
Okay, cool. Just like a bit of white noise in the background.
Yeah.
That's really
it's not even that, because I put it at the bottom of my bed, so the sound doesn't even get to me. The only time you hear sound, we're really getting to the CPAP now.
No.
This is a CPAP episode.
This is,
when the only time you really hear sound is if you have a leak in your mask and then you go,
okay.
Spat on the mic. Because, sorry. He goes, like, and it kind of wakes you up a bit. But
sure. Okay. And what about the whole, because obviously there's a psychological element to having to wear a CPAP machine and, sleeping with a CPAP machine on, the way did it affect the way you felt about yourself wearing a machine to go to bed?
Yeah. So I think when I first had it, I did feel like a sick person in hospital.
Okay.
Because you probably look like, if someone sees me and I say, like, this guy's ill, like he's gonna
Darth
die.
Vader.
Like, look like you're on your deathbed.
Oh shit.
To be honest, I'm not making it too like morbid, but that's how I felt. Like when I put it on, I looked ill. And when I looked in the mirror and I had the mask on, I was like, bloody hell, this is what you're gonna do. But all that goes out the window when you see the benefit from it.
Yeah.
And obviously, my daughter, I didn't want her to get scared and think this guy's like ill. So we just kind of, I think she kind of saw me a bit, and then you take the tube out and talk still. I think she's all right with it now.
Sure.
But
I'm guessing you probably kind of talked her through it and what you're using it for.
I think we haven't directly spoke about it, but yeah, I think she's picked it up.
Okay.
Well, if you don't, this is what your dad does. But yeah, so for me, sleep is something that I probably never thought about, but now I have good quality sleep with an aid, and I would never, when you travel, I wouldn't travel without it. I want it with me, so there you go. So sleep is very important to me.
Yes, absolutely, and it's good that you've seen the difference. From obviously not recognizing how bad your sleep was before. And then you could, looking back now, you can see the effects of poor sleep, because it's those effects. And it comes back to what we were talking about. It's what's important about sleep. The better question is, what's important about getting rest? And it's the recovery part. We need, the body and the mind needs to recover. And so that's why you were feeling the way you were feeling, because your body and your mind weren't having time to recover. There's so much that goes on during sleep that you start to notice the difference if you're not getting good quality sleep. And that's what I was talking about, and asking you about what were the knock-on consequences of not getting that sleep. There's a story. I was talking to a patient. I don't know if I told you this before. I was asking him, because he's a diabetic, and we were talking about, we got onto the conversation about sleep, and I asked him, I said, what's your sleep? What's happening with your sleep at the moment? And he said, oh, it's pretty bad at the moment. And I said, well, what's going on? And he said, well, I've got a lot of stress at the moment. My mum has been poorly. She's been in hospital, and now she's coming back home, and there's a lot of stress, so it's keeping me up. And so I said, well, how's that affecting you then? Like, how does that affect your day? And he says, well, so he thought about it, and he said, well, when I get bad sleep, I just feel exhausted the next day. I was like, okay, and then what happens? And he said, well, if I'm feeling exhausted, I can't be bothered to do anything. And he kind of started to realize that sort of the bad patterns he would get into because of his bad sleep. So he's like, I couldn't even be bothered to make a proper breakfast or make my lunch or anything, and I'd just start snacking and things like that. And so you could then see the knock-on effects. And he'd be like, I just, my mood would be terrible. I'd be snapping at people. So you can start to see how it affects, the rest of you.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, like all them things. But what I do also want to just declare is that after I had the machine, I didn't become, I didn't lose weight and kind of.
I don't think there's any evidence to say that CPAP helps you lose weight.
Yeah. Everybody will be on it then.
Yeah.
The new diet.
Yeah.
But I think definitely if you bump into people as well, and you can tell they haven't had good sleep. From the visual kind of eyes to their mood as well.
Yeah. Okay. So we've kind of talked about what are the effects of bad sleep, and so we've talked about it being like, how it affects your mood, how kind of tired you feel and kind of exhausted, and this, and like we said, there's so many other parts to it as well. I don't know whether you've woken up. I did a bit this morning because I said I had a bad night's sleep, so you just don't feel like you're fully there, like you've got that kind of brain fog, can't concentrate properly.
Not anymore.
No, as in not anymore, but as in due.
Do I remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was a type of guy who just carry on sleeping through it. I'll sleep through it.
Okay.
If I was a bit,
Yeah.
you're just trying to genuinely like thinking, oh, I'm a bit whatever. I'll sleep a bit more.
Okay, sure.
But it's your routine as well. If you don't have a good routine in your day, Singer Bandan, it just does whatever he wants to do.
It. But yeah, that those are the kinds of sort of symptoms, and it's if you look at what happens in sleep. Do you know about sleep cycles?
I think 30 minutes. That's a very specific one.
I know.
That's what I heard, 30, 30, 30, and then you go back to...
four cycles, and you go from... There's 4 phases, but in simple terms, it's like deep sleep and REM sleep.
Yeah.
So deep sleep is the part for recovery.
Okay.
Now that's where your body's really doing its resting and recovering. And
is that when your eyes are doing this?
No, that's REM sleep.
Okay.
That's your dreaming sleep.
Okay.
And what happens is at the beginning part of the night, when you go through the cycles, your deep sleep is longer than your REM sleep, and as you get later on, in more towards the morning, the REM sleep is longer, which is why you remember those dreams that you have sort of first thing in the morning. But it's the deep sleep is obviously that's the bit where your body and your mind do its recovery. So basically it's, your immune system's active, it's going around through your body, it's clearing out any toxins, clearing out your own body cells that aren't working properly or are damaged. So it's doing so much. And the same thing's happening in your brain. Like you have a lymphatic system in your body, it's called a glymphatic system in your brain. So it's really, really important, time. And then obviously then there's the REM sleep, which is your dreams, but that's where you're kind of laying down your memories, your brain is learning at a subconscious level. So it's understanding everything that you may have witnessed or done during that day. It's putting it into your understanding and your belief systems.
When you said it like that, I just remembered Minority Report when he's like, that, and you can fast forward through things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important, and that goes back to when we were saying that, we neglect sleep, don't we? Like, how many times have you thought, I've got some extra work to do, or I've got to write this report, or, I've got to revise for an exam, and you're like, actually, I'll just do another hour tonight. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if I get 3 or 4 hours sleep, I'll just do another hour or 2. Yeah,
mine is more, I've got to hand this in tomorrow, so I'm not going to do it all-nighter.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Red Bull.
Yeah, that's it.
Remember they used to have these caffeine pills?
Pro Plus.
Yeah. It was like, everyone was eating them, and you're like, yeah, we're going to smash it, do it all-nighter. And the next day, probably don't even hand it in because you mashed up from the last night.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like really wired on those?
I didn't. I don't think caffeine works well with me.
Okay.
Until recently. So maybe my body's finally kind of got used, had a bit of a reset. But I could sleep after a Red Bull.
Okay.
Or, I don't know if this is true. Can you be, when you're overtired?
Yeah.
Can you, like people say, I can't go to sleep because I'm overtired. Can you be so tired that you can't go to sleep? The reason I say this might be all crap, but I was so tired, had a Red Bull, brought me to a medium level.
Yeah.
Then I went to sleep. Is that the biggest crap
probably just your system is broken.
Maybe. I just
maybe you were so tired that you got to that point of exhaustion, and you're like, your body's like, forget this, I've had enough. just put him to sleep, man. Where were we? What was I talking about? Sleep, obviously. That's the worst comment I could have come out with. No, what I was meant to say was the fact that we neglect sleep. So if we're going through this need to go through this rest and recovery, and we also need to go through this period of, laying down memories and understanding. If we're shortening that time down, then you can automatically see what's going to happen. We don't have enough time to rest and recover. We don't have enough time to lay down the memories and form our understanding and our belief systems and all of that. So it's like if you're doing coding and you're and you don't put in the whole code, and you just put bits in, or you're missing bits out, or you're coding it wrong, then that's where you can start to see where ill health and chronic diseases and mental health and problems and all of that start, because it's you're just not giving your body and mind the time that it needs to rest.
Yeah, you describing that, I'm thinking of somebody I know, and you can get ill quite often. I'll go with that, really. Like, just your immune system is probably a bit more dropped, isn't it? I'm thinking. What other aspects does it affect? So we spoke about health, memory. What about migraines and things like that? Do you think that's part of not sleeping well?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like I said, when you're sleeping and you're in that recovery phase, your brain is it's doing its own housekeeping. You know what I mean? It's cleaning itself. It's getting rid of toxins and things. All of those things in your brain that cause inflammation. And that's where things like headaches and brain fog and poor concentration and migraines and things like that will start to occur. That's why there's links between chronic poor sleep and things like dementia and that as well, because it's this accumulation of inflammation that the body has, or the brain hasn't over time been able to repair the damage that's gone on.
I think things like that's what kind of made me definitely take the machine and kind of really get on board with it, because you just think, I don't need another reason to be in hospital. So what if you can't sleep?
What if we can't sleep?
Or if you don't have a good sleeping pattern? I went to bed since having children, I probably can sleep more active in the day. So I say children, I've got one child. I don't want my wife listening going, what's the other way? So since having a daughter, and maybe work routine, things like that, I can sleep well through the night. Maybe the machine as well. So I feel like I can go to sleep at a good time. I remember I used to go to sleep at 9.
Okay.
And sleep till 6. Maybe I probably used to start a bit earlier than maybe 5. But I was in a good sleeping pattern. And if you tell me now, go to sleep, what time are you going to sleep tonight? 10:30 max. After 10:30, I'm going.
Yeah.
Probably still stay awake, but I probably shouldn't. I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So unless I'm watching something particular, you were going to tell me off now. So, what if you get to bed and you just can't sleep? Yeah. What happened to you last night?
Yeah, I know. And that was it.
Yourself? Yeah.
That was it. So it was because I was, I don't know whether it's the inner child of me who's gets excited about, doing a podcast and recording and all of those sorts of things. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's how do you get to sleep?
I'm gonna say.
What's that?
Meditation.
Meditation. Yeah, no, that's right. It's no. So in those sorts of situations, when something is triggering you and something that's that's making you stay awake, then it's how do you kind of resolve yeah, exactly. How do you resolve whatever's going on? And I got a good example of that is I remember a while ago I was going. There was something that was stressing me and it's keeping me awake, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And actually, no, I didn't even realize that something was stressing me. And I remember I'd go to bed, and this would be 2 or 3 nights in a row. I'd go to bed and I'd be trying to get to sleep, and you're just I'm just awake, kind of just looking around. There wasn't even a lot going around in my mind. And then I realized I was there's got to be something going on. So I actually got out of bed.
I'm going to tell you what you did.
What's that?
And then you journaled.
Yes. How did you know?
Because I know, innit? This is a good thing to do. I think you told me to be honest.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you were going to play that psychic card that you played earlier. But no, I did, honestly. When I sat down, I just got a piece of paper and I was like, something's bothering me. I'm just going to start literally writing. And when I did that, I worked out what it was. And then I was like, can you do anything about it now? And I was like, well, not now. It's the middle of the night. I'll sort it out tomorrow. That was all it took. Once I figured out what it was and the fact that you can't do anything about it now, it was almost like you're telling your subconscious that you can't do anything about this now. So just drop it and we'll sort it out tomorrow. And that actually is what having a good sleep routine is about. It's not about you consciously being able to tell yourself, I need to go to sleep. Is you actually need to have a routine so that your subconscious knows when it's time to go to sleep.
That's
nice.
I don't even know how to work that out. Yeah, so you're talking about that routine. I've got a bad routine.
Okay.
I listen to stuff before I go to sleep.
Okay.
Or listen to it whilst I sleep. Tell me what's wrong with that, because I'm sure there's something wrong with it.
If it works for you,
yeah, then it's
then right. I'm guessing it's okay. You've kind of worked out. Maybe it's as in, do you actually listen to it, or do you put it on and within a few minutes you're falling asleep?
So I used to listen to music. And then I didn't fall asleep. I like music, so I was always listening to it.
Yeah.
And I could listen to like hours.
Yeah.
And I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'll start listening to TV shows.
Okay.
So it's something you don't have to pay much attention to, comedy shows. And yet sometimes I'm listening to an episode, a whole episode, so half an hour, maybe going to the next one, then I go to sleep. Sometimes I put it on and I don't remember getting
what happened.
I just went to sleep. I got into a routine of filling in that kind of, but some nights I know, mate, I'm tired today. I don't even need that. I feel like I need it.
So for you, it actually might be that having that
noise
in the background is kind of it's that distraction. It switches off your
brain from overthinking as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you turn it off so that you can then basically reduce part of your sensory kind of acuity. So you're turning off your hearing basically, so that you're not you're not overstimulated in a way.
Ironically,
basically. So, but you can see, but with music, it was keeping you awake because. That was overstimulating you. Whereas this is, it's almost more soothing.
Yeah, definitely. I think me and my wife are both conditioned to that. Like the TV's on, and it isn't on because we're watching it. It's on to kind of relax you and go to sleep. Plenty of times I've come into the room and the TV's on and she's sleeping.
And we did that as well. We'll put a program on at 8:30 in the evening, and literally within 20 minutes we're probably both knocked out on the sofa.
So is having a power nap like that bad? I find it's bad for my wife. She's probably gonna, I'm sorry. But if she sleeps at 8 whilst watching something, she ain't sleeping till 11.
I think that late, especially if your bedtime's 2 hours later, is probably not good. Having a power nap, as long as it's less than half an hour during the daytime, is okay. That doesn't affect your body clock. We haven't talked about body clock actually.
We haven't.
No, your circadian rhythm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're talking about here when we're talking about routine. Is and again, your body clock. What you're trying to do is you're trying to. Because obviously every cell in your body has a body clock, and you're trying to set up your routine throughout the day to tell your body when it's daytime, when to be active, and when it's nighttime and time to relax and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's that whole thing about you're not trying to tell your conscious that you're getting ready for sleep. You're trying to tell your subconscious that it's time to go to sleep. Because, like we found, until you can talk to yourself as much as you want and tell yourself, I need to go to sleep, but until your subconscious is ready to go to sleep, you're not going to go to sleep.
And that's the guy you can't find, man. You don't know where he is in his subconscious, hidden away.
Yeah.
So you have to really believe it, I suppose, isn't it?
No, it's there.
Yeah. No. I believe in the I mean, have that belief for your subconscious to understand, like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was going to ask you, what, like you mentioned having listening to something at night time, it helps you go to sleep. Have you found any other routines that help you go to
so
sleep or
I did
unwind?
go through a phase of, and this was pre-meditation days.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe I heard it somewhere, but to relax every part of your body. So start with your feet, relax legs, knees.
Is this that shaking thing?
So I'm not doing that in bed. But like, you know, just picturing each part going to sleep, arms, and then when I think at that time I just heard it, so I started doing it, and it kind of worked. Like, you know, you could feel like I'm a bit more relaxed. Yeah. Now, like with the meditation, if you tell me, I'll be knocked out. Like I know how to sleep in. You know, when you meditate, they say don't be too comfortable because you're going to go to sleep. And a few times I've done it, and I've just gone to sleep. So you got to,
and that's it. You're going into your subconscious. Then you're shutting out all of the other senses, and you're going into your subconscious, which is where you're getting fully relaxed.
I think also lighting, having nice yellow lighting. Mm-hmm. The thing is that we changed the bulb in the top of the stairs to the filament ones, so it's nice and yellow.
Okay, yeah.
Probably cost 10 times more than the other bulbs, but one, it was spare in the house. It was just a random one, and I went, no, I'm going to put it there because then that's how, when we're going to bed, we don't put a room light on. It'll be a lamp, so it'll be yellow in the stairs, yellow on the lamp. Then obviously start watching Avatar and it's all blue. But I think, I do believe the TV is a bad thing that we have. Yeah. But it does its job as well.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. Just going back to the circadian rhythm.
Can I talk about another good and bad thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Eating.
Yes.
Eating at the right time. We eat early, naturally, so pre 6 o'clock.
Okay.
You know, like
that's good.
6:30 is like late.
Mm-hmm.
Anything beyond that, it's like we all make a big thing like, oh, this is late.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that's definitely helped. The only problem is if I don't sleep by 10, I want to eat again. Then I eat. Then I'm still gone out the window. But you shouldn't eat because your body is digesting and doing stuff.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a second.
Okay. So, I'm too good at this.
I know. Okay. So I was just going to sort of explain the circadian rhythm, and why that's important. So, like I said, each cell in your body, it runs on this circadian rhythm, and it's all to do with your hormones. In a simple way, it's cortisol is like your morning and daytime hormone, and then melatonin is your nighttime sleepy hormone. So in the morning, your cortisol level rises. That's your stress hormone. But we're talking about good amount. In a good amount, yes, good stress hormone.
So that's what wakes you up, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as kind of morning, as it comes to morning, your cortisol level starts to rise, and that's what wakes you up. And then as the day goes on, your cortisol level comes down and your melatonin level starts to rise. And then your melatonin level is the one that tells your body it's time to go to sleep. And so what we're trying to do is when we talk about routine, is trying to do things that support that rhythm. Yeah. Because there's so many things that can knock that rhythm out. So like we mentioned, cortisol is your stress hormone. So if you carry on being stressed all day long and into night, your cortisol level is going to stay high, and it's going to keep you awake. And there's and also that's going to suppress your melatonin level, so that's not going to come up. And there's lots of different things that can suppress your melatonin levels as well. So that's why it's really important that we do have a routine that encourages us to
wake up. There you go. Well,
this is a great demonstration.
So either you're really relaxed or
I'm listening.
Okay. So if you can't go to sleep in the night, listen to the podcast.
Yep.
It will help you go to sleep.
It just shows
We've
you
just had
what
evidence in front of us. Yeah.
We're just showing how you can get in touch with your subconscious and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Things that knock your melatonin. So blue light, like you just mentioned there. That's why it's important to cut out the blue light before you go to bed, because it's going to, it's going to drop your melatonin levels. Things like exercise as well, because if you're exercising, especially if you exercise too late at night, then it's obviously that's going to increase your stress levels.
That's why I don't exercise.
There you go.
In the night.
In the night, yeah. Yes, obviously that's going to increase your stress levels. It's going to increase your adrenaline and all of that. So that's obviously going to keep you awake.
So off the back of that, yeah, I definitely felt when you come from a gig in the night, performing, not
when you're pumped.
Yeah, so you started on stage, and then you come back and you're like, I can't go to sleep.
Yeah, that's how I felt last night.
Yeah. So I have to watch a bit of TV or something to kind of relax me down.
Wind down.
Exactly.
Wind down.
I'm ready to go to sleep.
But TV again, probably not the best way of doing it.
I ain't coming from a gig and then reading a book. You know what I mean? That's too much. That's too much of a change, man. I can't read books anymore.
Okay, sure. But you found a way that works for you, basically. Yeah. Okay, sure. So I mean, there is a simplish way of trying to, if you can do some of these things or do these things and get into a routine, it's quite useful. It's called the 10-10-4-3-2-1 rule. You ever heard of that?
I don't even remember the numbers you just said.
10-10-4-3-2-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically what it means is I'll run through them and then we can kind of discuss. So
we can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll fall asleep in the next 10 minutes. 10 minutes of early morning sunlight.
Okay.
Outdoors.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're like,
I've heard of this.
Yeah. Then it's no caffeine.
With the 10 minutes, I've heard look at the sun.
Yes. You don't have to look at it directly.
Not directly, but look towards the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Look into the sunlight.
Can I just do a shout out to my brother-in-law who's gonna kick me in my face because he's told me this for years. I've ignored him. So
all right. Sure.
Sorry, mate.
Okay. 10 minutes of early morning sunlight. Don't have caffeine within 10 hours of going to bed.
Okay. Looks like I'm going to sleep at 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Don't exercise less than 4 hours before going to bed.
Okay.
Don't eat
3 hours.
3 hours before going to bed. Don't do any work 2 hours, up to 2 hours before going to bed.
When you say work, you mean physical or like mental work?
Mental, like, your
day job. Like,
day job.
Don't start doing
don't do work on the computer,
Yeah.
work related stuff. And then the last one was no bright lights at least 1 hour before going to bed.
10-10-4-3-2-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason for the 10 minutes of early morning sunlight should be the first thing. And I know in the winter in the UK, there's no chance of you getting any early morning sunlight. But the whole point of that is to kickstart that cortisol spike, to set your body clock. Say, yes, this is morning now. Cortisol's up. I'm up and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then the caffeine. Yeah. So they say don't have caffeine. I try not to drink caffeine or drink coffee after midday, because coffee has or caffeine has quite a long half-life. It's about six hours. So that means by sort of 8-9. So if you have a cup of coffee sort of midday, it's still in your system by 6 to 8 o'clock at night. So you want to have it as early as possible if you can. So I drastically reduced my caffeine intake. So what caffeine does is this is probably going to, is it GCSE or A-level biology? Did you do any of those?
I did go to school.
Do you remember the Krebs cycle?
No.
Okay.
I know Krispy Kreme.
Krabby Patties.
Yeah.
The Krebs cycle is like how the cells make energy from.
They didn't teach me that in my school.
Oh, maybe it was A-level then.
Yeah,
it probably was. Anyway, but basically,
just a reminder, you are a doctor. I mean, I'm sure you got trained somewhere on that than me.
Yeah. Anyway, the energy source that your cells use is called ATP.
Okay.
And the breakdown product of when the cells use that is adenosine.
Okay.
Right. So what happens during the day is, as your body's using this ATP energy source, it's producing more and more adenosine. And that is your body's signal to start to tell it, I'm getting tired and now it's time to wind down and go to bed. But what caffeine does is it blocks your kind of brain recognizing that this is building up. So that's why people don't feel tired when they have caffeine. Okay,
so caffeine doesn't give you energy; it stops you from getting tired.
It stops you feeling the tiredness because you are tired.
Yeah,
but it stops you feeling it.
Like when you have paracetamol for your pain, like it stops you from the pain, but it's still there. The pain. I'm all right, I could be a doctor.
So that's the caffeine bit. What was next? Exercise. Like we said about exercise, if you do it too late on, then you're going to be pumped. Your adrenaline's going, your stress hormones, because obviously you've stressed your body and your mind. So that's why I don't exercise too late towards the end of the day. Eating, like we said, and like you said as well, it's because you're still digesting. You want to give your gut time to digest. Your gut itself has its own body clock.
Okay.
So it doesn't want to be digesting at nighttime. It wants to be doing the same as your brain is and the rest of your body is. It wants to be clearing itself out of toxins and things. So that's why that's important. Where did we get to? Two. Yeah. And 2 was.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I had a mind blank. I thought you were going to.
No, I was going to say 2. Yes. I wake up and I do number 2.
Yeah. Okay. No.
That was from the cleaning your body out.
Okay. No. 2 was not doing any work. So just think about, obviously, if you're still writing reports or revising for exams and stuff, so close to going to sleep, your stress levels are going to be high, aren't they? We're trying to get you into a place where you're relaxed, you've wound down, you're not thinking about work stresses or school stresses and all of those different things that are going on. So so that's why don't do any work at all. No.
Okay, I'll come back to this, but you're going. And then 1.
And 1, like we said, blue lights, anything, screens.
I'm surprised that's only
lights.
1 hour, to be honest. I would have thought it's probably a bit more because...
I mean, the earlier you do it, then the better. So start winding down. Like you mentioned, having sort of yellow lights. So anything like that, yellow kind of sort of the warmer side of the spectrum is absolutely fine. Having warmer lights in the house. And I don't know if you noticed that there is a big fad of using like bright white neon lights everywhere. We went through that phase. Like my kitchen is like just pure bright white. But in places where you're going to relax, you should have nice warmer lights because they will help to relax you. Yeah,
and I think we discussed this before. I started putting some candles in the room.
Yeah.
Just as a little light in the back.
Absolutely.
Nice and
it's you're right. It's all of those things that can help you relax and create that, like we said, you're creating that atmosphere of you're telling your body and your mind and like I said, your subconscious that I'm winding down now. Now is the end of the day, and now I'm ready for sleep.
That's beautiful.
Perfect.
The end. I nearly went to sleep.
I mean, there's lots of other things. Obviously, alcohol makes a big difference.
Drink loads and go to sleep.
That's it. No, that's not what we're trying to tell you to do. But again,
put that drink down. Yeah.
That's it.
Obviously, that will spike certain things that don't help you go to sleep. Is that right?
Sorry?
Will it spike things that don't relax you?
Well,
English. I don't know.
So what does alcohol do? At the end, it obviously makes you tired, and then you'll go to sleep. But then one of the biggest things is, how many times have you had a lot to drink and then woke up 2-3 o'clock in the morning because you're bursting for the loo, because it's a diuretic, so it makes you want to go to the loo, and then so that's another reason kind of.
So you don't, even though you may be sleeping, you're not sleeping well.
No, you're not sleeping well.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So those are some of the things that you can do. So it's about creating this, and it's like a whole day routine. Making sure that your routine is geared towards your body clock, keeping your body clock.
And as we discussed before,
correctly.
That holistic approach. Everything we discussed throughout the day is stuff from the other pillars. So eating well, exercise, doing it at the right time, and stress
management, absolutely, So all of those things that can help your stresses. So if you are going through stresses and things, and you can, like you say, meditate, journal, breathing techniques, they're all there to try and help to relax the body. And put you into a more relaxed state, so you are ready to go to sleep properly. Anything else that can help sleep?
Sleeping pills?
Oh, no, we don't like sleeping pills.
But people take sleeping pills.
I know, but that's the biggest misnomer, if you like. There's no such thing as a sleeping pill.
Oh dear.
It's a big bugbear.
Big Pharma's going to after you, mate.
It's fine. I don't care. Whenever anybody asks me, can you give me a sleeping pill? I said, there is no such thing as a sleeping pill.
Okay.
There's medication that can sedate you and tranquilize you, but there's no sleeping pills. So I'm like, well...
No, but we spoke about cortisol and what's the one that helps?
Melatonin.
Melatonin.
Yeah.
Isn't there a fake melatonin that
you can get melatonin? And that's probably... It depends on what you're using it for. If you can't get to sleep, then melatonin can help. If you're one of these people that can get to sleep, but then you kind of wake up in the night or keep waking up, then it's probably not going to help you. But I always say, well, what are we treating? What's the underlying reason why you can't sleep? If you can't get off to sleep because, like me yesterday, there's something going on and you need to work through it, then we've got to work through it. If you're waking up early in the night because you need to keep going for a wee, and you've got some kind of bladder issue, or men got a prostate issue, then we need to get that sorted out first, don't we? So it's dealing with the underlying problem. And if the problem is your sleep routine is not right in itself, that you are staying up till all hours, working or playing computer games and things like that, well, that's the bit you need to fix, because no matter how many pills I give you, it's not going to solve the problem.
Okay, no pills.
No more pills.
So, do people have different circadian rhythms? Because I have heard of a thing called people are larks. Have you heard of this? So, a lark is a type of a bird that I think.
Okay.
And it wakes.
I had a medical version of lark.
Okay. Is it sleep related?
No, it's called long-acting reversible contraception.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking about that. Not today, anyway.
No.
So lark, because I believe my wife is a lark.
Okay.
It's somebody who wakes up early.
Yeah.
And sleeps early, like
Okay.
Sleep early, wake
Yeah,
up
yeah.
early, and fresh. Like,
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure she won't like me telling the story, but I can wake up at 8 o'clock, come downstairs, and she's made evening meal or like lunch,
Ready.
dinner's ready.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
because that's how that she just wakes up early.
Yeah, your cycle is attuned to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, your 24-hour cycle.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. This is probably so. That's my personal cycle,
Mm.
and then she's got her own cycle. It will never line up. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah. I'm the same.
It hasn't lined up yet. So.
I'm the same. I'm up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's.
Are you
me.
making food?
I
What are you doing? Or, okay.
Yeah, I know. I'll get in trouble for saying it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Yeah, I get up at 6 so that I can get the kids' breakfast ready for school, get their bags ready, pack lunches, all of that, all before anybody else is awake.
Man, I'm snoring at that time. Well, I'm not snoring anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, fair enough. I'll accept that answer.
Cool.
I'll shake on it with my wife tonight. I agree.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
Brilliant. So I think we've covered quite a lot today then in terms of sleep.
Mm.
So in terms of like a bit of a recap, obviously we've talked about why sleep, why talking about sleep is important, and just to hopefully get the message out there is that we should give sleep that
Mindfulness, we should,
be more mindful about sleeping and sleeping properly and giving it the respect it's due, and not always neglecting sleep, because we need to allow our bodies time to rest and recover. Not just the body and the mind, time to rest and recover. And we've talked about how it affects you when you don't have time to, or you don't sleep properly and you don't have that proper recovery time. And then we've talked about some of the things that we can do to try and improve our sleep, and we talked about how it's all about sort of setting your body clock, and some of the things that we can do to create that that evening routine. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, that routine to kind of put you in the mindset of being ready to go to sleep.
Optimum state.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's all right. You be good at the medicine. I'll be good at the words.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so think about your own sleep pattern. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Do you think you neglect sleep? Mm-hmm. Is there anything you can do better? Do you complain about it? Is it really good? Mm-hmm. Share your good. Mm-hmm. I always feel like we always share advice to people when they need it, but always share your success story with people.
Absolutely,
as well, because so you never know what somebody might hear and get inspired and go, oh, actually, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. And even if, listening to this, you start to think about your own sleep and say, actually, you know what? Maybe that's why I am feeling tired, or I can't concentrate properly, and then start thinking about your own routine and thinking, well, what am I doing, and what could be stressing me, or how can I improve my routine?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jat. I think I will sleep much better tonight, having now done the podcast.
Hopefully,
and can go home and rest. I already feel relaxed.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I think, I feel relaxed. Thanks.
Cool.
We know somebody else definitely relaxed here.
Yeah, absolutely. So next time is our final episode of this series.
Next time on Mindful Mixtape Podcast,
we're going to be talking about
something. I thought you were going to... I can't even read it. But
it's risk-taking behaviors.
Risk-taking behaviors.
So we're going out with a bang this time. We're talking about all those things that we do that maybe we shouldn't be doing, that are bad for the body, and why it's important that we look after our mind and body and, and our lives, if you like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you have anything, questions around that, or you'd like us to answer anything, so where can they catch us?
We are on Instagram.
Yeah, I think we should say we're on Instagram, YouTube, We ain't on Facebook, are we?
No, we're not
We
on
need to
Facebook.
sort that
Yeah,
out.
Instagram, YouTube. YouTube's coming, but Instagram, at the .mindful mixtape .podcast. And it's the same for YouTube as well. But you can also email us if you want to drop us a line. And the email is themindfulmixtape@gmail.com.
If you get a bounce back, we've said it wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And we'd love to hear your feedback on the the series as it comes to the end. How can we improve for next time? But yes, let's look forward to our final episode.
Thank you very much, mate. It's been
Brilliant.
a pleasure as always.
As always, thank you, Jati.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you next time on the Mindful Mixtape podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Mindful Mixtape with your host, Dr. Ranj Sagu and Jati Cheed.